For those who don't know your background, please tell us who you are and what your assets are.
Well, my name is Mark Diaz. I'm not a great speaker. My assets are the Holy Spirit. This country was built on God's ideas. You know, they talk about the miracle of the Romans, but think about the miracle of the United States. Where we came from, whose ideas this nation was built on. They were God's ideas from the beginning. That worked for nearly 200 years. But the last 50 years, we've slipped. We've gotten ourselves off into a ditch. Our leaders need God's ideas. He will give our leaders inspired ideas they'd never have on their own. His will on earth, His miracles, prosperity.
So as the challenger for House District 79, what issues do you think are most important to the people of that district?
Well, I think the issues that are most important to everyone is to grow this economy. You know, we have such wonderful resources here in Montana. Oil, gas, timber, tourism. Farming, it's all being choked by overzealous and radical environmentalists. If you look at what North Dakota did with their assets, last year they were like number 40 on the list. But they've become good stewards of the land and still using the natural resources. They're like number 4 on the list right now. We can do that in Montana. We've got to get this chokehold that the extreme environmentalists have on this state. We need to create that kind of wealth, and that's all in God's will. He gave us these natural resources to be used and to be good stewards of.
So, what would you say makes you more qualified than your opponent, Representative Hunter? And what do you think the major differences are between the two of you besides just party affiliation?
Well, I'm sure Chuck Hunter's a fine man. I would be curious to ask if he asked for God's inspiration, though. I mean, he's been in there for a number of years. And look at where we are. If I'm not elected for this position, then I would ask the people to pray for Chuck, that he prays for God's inspiration for all of our leaders. And it's just not me. I mean, God is working in this election cycle all over the United States. There's tens of thousands of Christian non-political types like me getting into politics who have been voters for 40 years or whatever, who realize that if we turn back to God, He promises us in 2 Chronicles 7:14, if my people will turn back to me, I will prosper them. It's just that simple.
Okay, so in a closing statement, and we're already at the last question, in a closing statement, why should people vote for you?
Well, I mean, I have the intellect, I have the passion, I have the time to immerse myself in the job that needs to be done. I'm not for sale. From the beginning, I announced I'm not accepting any campaign contributions. That's another area that needs to be fixed, by the way. I will do the job with the mind of Christ, not my mind. I see people through His eyes. I see the situation through His eyes, and I'm not the only one. We can get this back on track, and we can do it very quickly if we just ask for His ideas, set ours aside.